just on here for some tips for mental health, a wee explanation of what we're going to be doing at 8 o'clock. Okay, so I do have a little list here and a couple of things I would like to speak about. Some cards, I'll get into that in a wee minute. Okay, so it has been worrying times, it has been fearful times, uncertain times, and I'm in the same boat as everybody else. You know, there's nobody that is invincible. There is nobody this is not affecting. Well, anybody with any kind of common sense. But there's a few different things I would like to speak about. So I'll just go through the list. I've compiled a little list here because things kept coming and kept coming. So where we're going to start. So fear. I want to talk about fear and what fear is. You know, it's a word that's bandied about, and I wanted to sort of really get into what fear actually is. Fear is an emotion from the research that I have done and from what I know. And it is caused by, well, let me just get the exact. Fear is an emotion induced by perceived danger or threat. And it's caused by the amygdala. So that part of the brain just reacts. It's your primitive reptilian part of your brain. So whenever that is activated, you don't actually have sound mind or sound capabilities. So I want to just even chat a wee bit firstly about how it has affected me. So I am self-isolating at the minute, have been from last week, and another thing that comes along with fear is uncertainty. So uncertainty and sort of fear of the unknown. Now, uncertainty can definitely cause anxiousness, anxiety, all of that. Where are we? So, and then sort of the amygdala pumps cortisol and adrenaline through the body. So I'll use me as an example. About 2 or 3 days ago, I was sitting here, and I was reading the news and putting it on YouTube and looking at my phone and back and forth, and it built and it built and it built until the point where I actually couldn't take it anymore. I had to turn it off. I was so activated by fear and adrenaline and all. I actually had to just, for myself personally, I went, right, let me just cut this all off. Let me use a healthy distraction. Let me go and meditate. Let me try and bring down like my blood pressure, everything that was affecting me, just so as I can just bring myself back down again. Because, you know, I'm using the breath. Definitely breath work. I use breath work every single day, and I would highly recommend breath work even for strengthening lungs. You know, have a look on YouTube. That was one of the things that actually did come to me that I actually forgot to write down. You can do breathing exercises to strengthen your lungs and calm yourself down. So I would highly recommend all of that. Now, the fear. Let me just look at my wee notes here. So as for myself, how I've been sort of coping with this is, I'll give you an example. My partner Chris has been freaking out about this for months, 2 months, 3 months. And I myself personally have not. You know, there isn't that much that would cause me to be fearful, and I'm not going to put myself under stress for unnecessary reasons. So I have not got stressed and fearful until things have got very real, very real. You know, schools closing and lockdown, basically, if we could say it. So I'm going to use me as an example. So my partner has worried about that for months, and still worries about it now. Now, I have not worried about that for months. I am concerned about it now. Not for the fear of this virus. That is not what concerns me. Any concerns I have had is other people's behaviour, and I'm going to sort of get into that a little bit. So what I'm saying is, you can worry about things all the time, 24/7, and you will still end. What was the expression? I've heard this before. There's some kind of an expression is, whether you worry about it and it happens, right? Just say you worry about it and it happens. There was nothing you could do about it. And just say you didn't worry about it and then it happened. Well, you're only having, your quality of life is better because you're only worrying about it when there is a real something to be concerned about. So anyway, there's my partner's reaction, there's mine. I can't say I'm trying to say that mine is better than his, but it's definitely caused me to have a healthier few months than he has had, because fear and stress and uncertainty weakens your immune system. So the positive steps that I have taken, I am going to sort of share here. So would be, and you can take this advice or not. I'm not a healthcare physician or whatever, you know what I mean. First things first. The one thing I would say about my partner, he's very good at this, right? Vitamins. Stock up on your vitamins. We've got every vitamin under the sun, that he has pre-booked and pre-ordered and he has there, and that's all set. The next thing, eating healthily, cooking home cooked meals. Now, I don't want to be somebody that's explaining something that's super simple, like I get it, but my point is, and I'm sure everybody else out there does get it, what you can control. We'll go into this because I don't want to discuss it. What you can control. You can control yourself, your mind, your body. You can't control other people. So, what you can control is doing a bit of yoga, doing a bit of exercise, eating well, home cooked meals, vitamins. That is what's going to build you up in your immune system. Fear and uncertainty is going to pull you down. So I do have some other practical tips here, but for me, and there you can, there's a concoction my partner has made, and it is lemons and what's he putting in it? Spices and what is it? Lemons, spices. I can't remember it at the minute. I'll put, if anybody wants it, I'll put the wee link or recipe, but it's not cinnamon, some kind of, he's all sorts in it, but it's just a health drink to boost you, and that is what we can control. We can control ourselves, how we're looking after ourselves. Oh, let me just pause there, everybody. Sorry about that, everybody. My phone just decided to jump off its little tripod, but anyway, where were we? I'm just going to read out a wee list of things here that I've researched and that came up that I think that you do have power and control over. So, where are we? Be kind to yourself. Universal. These are universal things I will discuss. Reflect on past successes. So, like when I was having that episode when I was freaking out and everything was getting too much, it was building up. This is the kind of steps and things that you can do. Healthy things. So, be kind to yourself. Reflect on past successes, because nobody does that enough. In fact, nobody I know even does that, but it's a good tip, okay? Limit your exposure to news. Yeah, I think I got that from experience. Develop new skills. So I've been doing, and I know friends have been doing a good bit of art. I've also been, like every woman I probably know, I've been deep cleaning my house, scrubbing it from top to bottom, because you don't actually get a chance to do that. I am a workaholic, and now I've been forced to pause, to breathe, and have a wee look at maybe the way I'm living my life. Where are we? Avoid dwelling on things you can't control. Again, universal. Take your own advice. Funny. Engage in self-care. Seek support in those that you trust. Okay. So, they're all really good tips, and everybody can do them. They don't sort of cost any money. And another thing, I was talking about control, what you can control and what you can't control. So, as I said, you can control all those factors with your own mental health, with your physical health, and all of that, with your emotions. Now, I want to talk about something called normalcy bias. Normalcy bias, and it is a term in psychology. And it is for these people, and I know some, and I have some in my family, who no matter what they're listening to or what's on the news, refuse to sort of acknowledge that there is something going on. Now, I'm not saying, cause mass hysteria and sort of panic. It's not that, but some people simply just aren't getting it, or they're not listening. It seems to be like the older generation, to be honest, the people that I know. And that is the worrying thing. Not this catching this virus. It's you're trying to talk to somebody and give them good advice, perceivedly good advice, and they're not listening, and they're putting themselves at risk. And it's all to do with this normalcy bias. It's like denial. or playing it down, basically. So that has been the hardest thing for me, and that has been the hardest thing that I have seen for some people on my Facebook, for some of my friends. It's you're taking proper precautions, you're looking after yourself and your health and your family, but you have people very close to you and dear to you that are not doing that. And that can be frustrating, it can be worrying. But again, let's bring this back on to concentrating on ourselves, our own immediate family, and what we can control, and we'll have to leave the rest. So, normalcy bias, that is what I wanted to sort of chat about. A couple of other things. Now, there is going to be a good bit more time to sort of, for me, I'm a workaholic, I like to be doing stuff, I'm very go, go, go. My house is now, funny, I spoke to a friend, she said that her house was so clean that she needed to wear sunglasses. I thought that was funny. But you know, I have been doing that. Deep cleaning my house, staying on top of things that I can stay on top of. But it has given me a moment to reflect. Like the simplest things, like yesterday, just out in the back garden, I lay down, it was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, and it was like sunny. And just looking up at the sky, and I lay there for about an hour, and I actually said to my partner, I said, I can't remember the last time that I did this. Like, it must have been at least a year, which is worrying. So it's given me that time to reconnect to myself and to balance things that I sort of need to balance, get on top of things and really contemplate. And one thing I would invite people to do is contemplate. This is giving you, everybody's got a reset. Everybody's got a pause button at the minute. And what I would just invite you to do is have a look at, what do I want from life? Where do I want to go? Am I happy in this job? What could I change? And a funny thing is, I was actually like taking stock or taking inventory of me, my personality, situations, how I react to people, and why I do the things that I do. Now that's just my thing, but I invite other people, now that you have the time to do that, concentrate on your relationships, how you are in the world, what you want from life. Like it's a whole, contemplate I invite you to contemplate all of those kind of things, because you now have the time to do so. Unless you're a key worker, and I give my thanks and praise to you. So there is that. I just want to see if yeah, another thing I've done to prepare is I have downloaded a lot of free ebooks and, you know, audio books of actually YouTube. I've downloaded those. There's a site called YouTube Converter, and you can actually copy the link and download that for free. So my phone is now jam-packed full of Walt Whitman and poetry and audiobooks and things that I've not got around or had time to get around to. And you don't need internet. If I want to lay in the back garden, I can do that. So that's another thing. So take an inventory of us, where we are in the world, what we want to do. This is what I want to do as a career, etc., etc. Now, and another one, another personal story for me I did want to share was fear. To be honest, there isn't much that scares me. I don't want to sound flippant, but there just isn't. I'm not as scared of death, I'm not as scared of jumping out of an airplane. You know, I've been through so much trauma and stuff in my childhood. It has really built very good resilience in me. But another thing that I've learned, and something that I want to sort of give you a benefit to, is, as a personal example, about a couple of months ago, I was having the most psychedelic nightmare. It was so scary. I'll not go into exactly what was happening to me in the nightmare, but let's just say I thought I was going to lose my life, I was getting strangled, blah blah blah. And I woke up absolutely activated, pumped, the chemicals were going. Now I was upstairs, lying in bed. I go to bed really early, so it was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever. And I was asleep, and my partner was downstairs, and I was just so, oh my god, I need somebody to hold me. I was shaking with fear. And I called him up, and I says, oh my god, please give me a hug, you know, I had this terrible nightmare, blah blah blah. And the strangest thing happened. I had like another level of awareness join me, and it said, face it, face this, face this on your own. And I thought, oh, but I'm so scared and I was so shaken. But the example I was giving to myself was, what if he wasn't here and I had to deal with this on my own? You know, I have to face this alone. And it was quite strange. It was quite a strange moment. So I told him, no, please. He was like really concerned about me. Do you want me to come to bed? Are you okay? And I was like, no, it's all right. I says, I need to do this on my own. Please go back downstairs. And I lay there and I felt that fear and I let it subside. And you know what it did? And that little voice was there with me. You know, I personally believe in God, a higher faith, higher power, universe, whatever anybody wants to call it. And it was with me and I was so comforted. And I was so proud of myself that I could stand. I felt like I had faced death and I was okay. And I knew if I could face that fear, you know, when I was so activated, that I would be okay. Now, practically how this would look in, say, somebody's life is, I invite you, because I have sat in meditation for years, I've cultivated my own personal power and studied and researched and did a million courses and all this, right? But the benefit of what I'm saying to you is, if you can, when you feel that fear rise up and that uncertainty or whatever it may be, listen. Please listen. There is another voice, quieter, it will whisper. So if the fear is like the roar of a lion, you know, this is the lion and the lamb, biblical, then the lamb is your intuition, it is your higher power, it is your personal power, and it will whisper, but it will be there. So that is a personal tool or something. If you're confused or upset or this or that or the other, get yourself still, quiet yourself down, and just listen for that other voice. It's a more subtle layer of your awareness, and it is there. So that's that other point. I want to make sure I'm getting through everything. Now, another thing, and this is just for me. So, for me to share, I mean, I was at the Arthur Findlay College, I think it was 2 years ago, and with Brian Robertson and Simon James, exceptional tutors, and they gave us all a gift. It was their last sort of week there, and they gave us a gift, and the gift was, I'm not sure if you can see it, I'll see where I can hold it up, and it is a beautiful copper bracelet. It's like Native American, and what it says on the inside is higher power. Higher power. That's what was inscribed inside this. Now I've just wore this, you know, I'm going to put it back on. I've just wore this to remind myself that I have support, I have care, I have guidance, I have another way of looking at things, I have another layer of perception that I can tune and tap into, and that is available to everybody, whether a medium, psychic, whatever it may be. You still have that personal power within yourself, and that's what I want to remind people. Now, the other day I did a card, you know, a weekly card, I do it, and I said, you know what, for the collective, for myself, for other people, I'm just going to shuffle these cards and see what comes out. So this is what came out. I'll post it after. I know, like, on these lives it's not really great, but I just want to hold it to see if you can see it if possible. And the first card, let me twist it away. It says new moon. New moon. So I'm going to have a look and discuss this first. Now this card is, there's a couple and they're sort of have their arms around each other, they're tightly in the picture in the middle. There is a little white picket fence that goes along. There is, you know, there's a slight new moon. It's like a new time we're entering. And there's beautiful lightness in the middle of the card, and that's where they're focusing, although it's gloomy and sort of cloudy all around the outside. And that to me is for a collective, for everybody. Get into your bubble, be prepared. I'm not saying go out there and shop the shelves off. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is, if you have prepared yourself well and for your family, you will feel better and you can feel settled. Like I have, and we've even, you know, we've been planting vegetables and planting some seeds, and, you know, we're going to grow things, and that's just for us, to settle us, to just know that we're being healthy and know that we're doing all that we can do. But this card, new moon and a promise, that's a promise for me of to me, sort of for the collective, as in, there's your time to contemplate, here's your bubble, here's your chance. Think about everything, reassess your life, reevaluate, and there is a promise of a new dawn to come. Now at the minute we're at reset, we're at pause, but to me that's a promise of the new and the better. It might not seem that way, but that's what I took from it. The next card, and I promise you I shuffled these the other day and picked them out, and I went, they're perfect, I need to share this. The next one is the lake. Let me see what way I'm flipping this. And it says stillness. Now, again, that's a bit self-explanatory. It's about us just taking time to be still, observe. You know, we're not completely locked down. If you want to go to the park and sort of take in your surroundings or any of that, then, you know, you can. This for me is when I was out and looking at the sky and looking at a beautiful tree and watching the leaves and watching it dance in the tree. And you can believe I had no stress or no worry or no concern in the world. I was at one with nature. And it is, for me, I have really needed this time to be insular, to look at myself and my life, because I've just been go, go, go for so many years. And the next one is, and it says, fog veiled. Now if you can see, and this was the next card over, and it's saying, right, it's all cloudy, there's dark mountains, but the absolute sun that's beaming through, again like a new moon, this is like a new dawn, this is such a story for me, these cards, which is why I wanted to share. It's that crack of people living their best life, reassessing, and you know, I'm not trying to be flippant of people's worries or concerns, because I have been where other self-employed people have been, and let me tell you, it is the one thing that brought down my mental health. It was the one thing. Your sense of security, your you know, your finances, your money, where you live, that is like the base level of our survival mode. And I know that that is one thing that really upsetted my mental health, and I've had to move through, was survival mode and money and finances. So for all my self-employed people, and I know a lot of them, I am feeling your pain. I'm more concerned about other people, to be honest, and their struggles and what they're going through, because I have been there, and that is one place I do not wish to revisit, because it is, you kick into survival mode so much that you can't think logically and you can't think straight, and you're confused and you don't know what way to go. But what I'm saying is, listen to that lamb, take it down a layer, be still, feel that fear and let it wash over you, because it will, it subsides, it goes in tides and moves. And just let yourself settle, because if you can face this, and we are all going to face this, and we are all in this together, then we can sort of move through everything. Now, I've waffled for ages, but I do want to just quickly go. The meditation is at 8. I want to quickly just explain what's going to happen. For me, this is more of a journey. I've done lots of shamanic journeys. I'm not trying to really put labels on what I am doing or what I'm going to do, because it really just is sort of a mixture of everything. There will be a lot of relaxing, a lot of deepening. There will be me trying to see what what I am going to do is I am going to, in essence, remove the conscious mind. So all of this talking down and all of this going back with numbers, this is all, you know, obviously I learned that through my clinical hypnotherapy. That is all me trying to get away your critical factor, your judgment area of your mind, of your conscious mind. We want to put that to the side for the minute, okay? And what we want to do is activate and work with the subconscious mind. So that is your deeper, you know, your feelings, your emotions, your imagination, your visuals. Now, I just want to explain a couple of things. Not everybody is visual, not everybody is a feeler, not everybody hears things to the T, and what I'm saying, whatever way your mind works is perfect, okay? So do not judge yourself if I'm saying, and you're in a beautiful garden and you can hear the birds singing and there's a waterfall and you're thinking, I'm not seeing any of that. That's okay. You're still going with it. If you just get the sense or the feeling that there was a waterfall or there's some dirt under your foot or grass or whatever, that's okay. What I'm saying is, do not judge this. At any point, if you think you're doing this wrong, let go of that and just go with it. Just tap back into it, because it'll be grand. It'll be fine. And that was the first thing. I am going to count this back. I'll give you an example, because this is where, to be honest, this confused me. So I want to explain this before I sort of go there. I will say, we're going to do lots of deepening. I'll explain what else we're doing in a moment. So I'll say, in your mind, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, just think it silently in your mind, 1,000 on the exhale. And then you can inhale, obviously, and then on your next exhale, you say, in your mind, deeper relaxed. And again, inhale, 999. And your inhale and exhale, deeper relaxed. And you keep going down, down, back, 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 right? Because the conscious mind can only sustain that for so long, and then you will get confused. It will cause confusion, and that's exactly what we want. That's what we're after. So let that happen. You'll hear me talking in the background, and you might you sort of feel daydreamy. You might be in and out. Just make sure you're somewhere that you're going to be undisturbed if you want to get the best, the best out of this. So I will count you back, and you'll dip in and out, and that's fine. And then we're going to go through other processes of deepening. Then we're going to, and I want to explain this now so as you know what to expect. This can be emotional. If it gets emotional, please be kind to yourself, but know that this energy is here to be transformed. So we're going to go to a beautiful building. I'll talk us through. We're going to do lots of deepening. I'll bring you to a beautiful building. And then we're going to go with, there will be a room on the right. And in that room is going to be you, a younger version of yourself. And that child is going to be somewhere where it's going to have consciousness, like not a baby or not a teenager. Let's put it as, now, maybe older, maybe younger. It's all individual to you. Let's say this child will be around 5 or 6 years old. Now, when we're going to go to this door, that child on the other side is a representation of, it's an element and a fractal of you, okay? And your psyche and your spiritual self, and it is also what the aim of this is for is, it is a representation of your fear, uncertainty, fear, anxiety, whatever it may be. But we're going to concentrate on fear because that's really prevalent at the minute. We're going to go, and I'm going to guide you. You are going to go in, and you're going to listen to that child. You're going to listen to its fears, its anxieties. It may say things like, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, I'm worried about my family, who's going to take care of me, I'm uncertain, I'm frightened, whatever it may be. That is a representation of your fear that we're bringing to the surface. And I'm going to guide you through taking that child, 5, 6 years old, maybe a little younger, a little older, whatever it may be, but a child, and you are going to give that child comfort the way you would give any child comfort. You're going to give it a hug. You're going to tell it it's going to be okay. You're going to tell it you're always going to be there with it, for it, through this, together, and you promise it that. And you're going to reintegrate that part of yourself and your psyche back into yourself, okay? And then we're going to move to the healing room, the healing chamber. And I'm going to call in, it may be guides, it may be angels. It's going to be very individual to you, but we are going to go for some healing. We're going to go for building the immune system. I'm going to take you through some alchemical symbols that I've been given, that I use every day. We're going to do that to activate and strengthen you and heal you on a emotional, psychological, physical, visceral level, okay? So we're going to do that, and then we're going to come back. And if you want to pop down, share a bit of your journey, you can. If you just want to keep that for yourself, that's 100% grand, whatever it may be. I'm just really doing this because I know there's so many people that are scared, confused, fearful and worried, etc, etc. And I just think if I can do this just to help people out, then that's all good, because there's a lot of people I know, there is people say, for example, being selfish, you're not being mindful or irresponsible, but on the flip side of that, it is bringing out the best in humanity, people helping, concerned about neighbours, doing all that they can do. So we are all in this together, and that's just what I want to do. And I thank you all for being here and listening. I know that was a long one, it always is for some reason with me, but I will be back soon and we will go with this meditation journey. Please try and be undisturbed, and we will hopefully, not hopefully, we will, with the power of intention, which is the strongest power in the universe to me, with our good positive intention to help heal and connect and recognize that fear instead of trying to bury it and ignore it and all that, transmute that with the power of love, with the power of ourself. How beautiful is it that you can be there for yourself? How beautiful is that? Nobody else. You're doing the work, so you're going to get the benefit. So thank you so much for listening. We'll come back and do the meditation journey, and I'll see you all then. Okay, thank you.